should be a celebration, claiming their quarterback as the best of the bunch. The record is within reach. When the night is done, Drew Brees should have it. You see Drew's family awaiting, his wife Brittany in the upper left there, the three boys, the beautiful daughter. We expect them to be brought to the field when the all-time record is within reach. 201 yards away from becoming the NFL's all-time passing yard king. There's one other trip that the family will eventually take, Canton, Ohio, the Hall of Fame. But before long, when Drew is enshrined, the ball that will break the record in the jersey he wears tonight will have a home. The glass enclosed exhibit, empty now, but they expect it to be filled this week. The Saints won the toss. They deferred. The Redskins will receive. Will Lutz to kick off. Johnson and Strowman back. As Johnson will take a knee, and we will say hello to 34-year-old Alex Smith.
It's scary to put yourself out there knowing that you might not succeed. I feel like I'm a young 34-year-old. I haven't reached my potential. My best football's still ahead of me. That excites me. That fires me up.
Had the great statistical season with Kansas City last year when he led the NFL in passer rating. And he's already made a difference with his veteran presence. DJ Swearinger, his teammate, the defensive back, says he's changed the sense of leadership, says there's a different bounce to this team. Play action to open up the night. And as trying to track it down was Marcus Williams.
Well, Joe, that's what I like to see from this offense, because we know they want to run the football. This system that Jay Gruden has, it's built on being stable, run and pass. But tonight, they have got to be aggressive. That's been the thing about Alex. He's won throughout his career, certainly in the last 5 or 6 years, but he was brought in here to get him over the hump. He's going to have to do that, attacking this secondary for New Orleans that has not played well this season.
They weren't bashful about saying exactly what they feel like they need with their offense tonight. Matching points in this place against this team. Here's 2nd and 10. As Smith will check down, and upended instantly and hard was Peterson by P.J. Williams. And he is limping off the field.
And that's just good, solid defense by New Orleans there. Drop back into zone coverage, understanding that Washington is going to challenge them in the pass, and Williams comes up and lays a physical hit on Adrian Peterson. That sends a message early on that not only are we here to play, but our small guys are here to tackle.
But Washington's really trying to get out there, pass the ball early, establish some of those things in the passing game. We know about Jordan Reed. Somebody on the outside has got to step up and stretch the field for this Washington offense.
Chris Thompson comes in as the running back, as he is wont to do on 3rd down. As Smith steps up and goes underneath and brought down at the 32 is Jamison Crowder after a 6-yard reception of 3 and out. There's Alvin Kamara, a 2nd-year player who is one of the great game breakers in the league right now.
False start, number 57. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
You know, guys, now that Mark Ingram is back, Alvin Kamara can take some of the load off on the offensive side and get back in special teams. He's a big play guy, and this is another opportunity they can get him a touch.
Tress Way, the crafty lefty punter. And turn this over to Kamara. And fields it at the 36 and is met right away with good coverage. And this is the night they have been waiting for in New Orleans. was the circle the date the moment the schedule came out. You could have done the math, and now you listen to the roar. 201 yards away from eclipsing Peyton Manning for the most passing yards all time. Drew Brees, 39 years old, 18th season out of Purdue.
Joe, he's playing the game at an all-time high level right now with what he's doing. He has weapons on the outside, but their ability to run the football, staying ahead of the change, is what making this offense so good early.
Including this guy back into the mix. Mark Ingram, back from his 4-game suspension. And suspended for the first month for a PED violation. Of course, 5,300 plus career yards. He's number 2 all-time in Saints history.
Yeah, and he's playing some of his best football last season and in the years prior. You know, usually when running backs get a little bit older in age, they start to slow down. Not Mark Ingram. He's the energizing bunny for this offense.
And then the other side of it, Kamara, as he is met after just a gain of 3 by Daron Payne. Saints up front have the second-year tackle out of Wisconsin in Ryan Ramczyk. And then, of course, the 1-2 punch of Kamara and Ingram, who had 1,500 scrimmage yards apiece last year. First pair of running backs to do that in NFL history.
This offense has so many different formations, certainly in the opening script, that gives defenses fits. We're seeing it on 3rd down.
3rd and 4. Brees looking over the options and incomplete as a flag is down. He was looking for Thomas, who was covered by Josh Norman.
Prior to the pass, holding, number 24, defense, 5-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
The outspoken veteran corner's been dealing with a hamstring this week.
Yeah, and when you watch him play, especially when he's in man-to-man, you see him grabbing and holding a little bit. He likes to be physical. But now, when I watch him on tape, his press coverage, he's starting to bail a little bit. He's backing up. He's got to get his confidence. It's a tough matchup going against Michael Thomas on the outside.
But you say not quite the guy we remember him as.
No doubt about it. He's not their best corner anymore. That's Quentin Dunbar.
Ingram the lone back. Brees with time over the middle and complete. Michael Thomas with the reception.
This play-action attack of this offense, Drew Brees anticipates it so much. He identifies the matchup that he wants. Zach Brown, the middle linebackers, carrying the seam. I talked about the formations that they do. You see Michael Thomas right there. He is in the slot as the number 3 receiver. That means he's got a linebacker covered on him. And that's Drew Brees sees it so early in the down. He just anticipates and throws it early.
Ingram, as he is met and pulled back by Zach Brown and Mason Foster. The Redskins defense has really benefited with the Bama boys up front, Jonathan Allen and Daron Payne. Ryan Kerrigan has been a steady force through the years, still searching for his first sack this year. And Booger mentioned it, Quentin Dunbar has risen up as a prominent corner in this defense.
You know, their Achilles heels of this Washington defense has been stopping the run. You mentioned the Bama boys. They've done a good job of that through the early part of the season.
Here's the screen, and Ingram patiently waiting for the blocks, and Ingram gets loose. And he will be marked down at about the 1. 27 yards, Brees to Ingram.
They call him Thunder and Lightning, right? You can guess which one he is. But guess what? You think they're going to run it up the middle? They're going to run it up the middle? No, they're going to come back with a screen pass to the big guy. And look at him go. He has been dying to get back out there on the field. Excitement to get out there. And the screen pass, Sean Payton draws it up. He self-scouts better than any coach in this league. And you see why. Situations like that, you think he's the inside the zone runner. Instead, catches the screen for the big play.
1st and goal. Ingram. How good does that feel for him? Welcome back, Mark Ingram.
And that's just just an inside handoff. And if the New Orleans Saints can have this physicality on an inside zone play where they control Allen and control Payne, you got to give big ups to the inside of that New Orleans offensive line. Andrews Pete, Max Unger, Larry Warford, just plowing those Bama boys out of there.
Said, you got us down here, Ingram. Go ahead and finish it off, buddy.
Missed the extra point. But the Saints' third opening drive touchdown this year. And it comes from Mark Ingram. Cancer diagnosis can come at any time, but regardless of the type of cancer, you can be prepared to fight it. The NFL and the American Cancer Society are continuing their long partnership on Crucial Catch to help the nation play offense against all types of cancer. Visit NFL.com/crucialcatch to learn more and to complete The Defender for personalized tips on reducing your cancer risk. Gail and Tom Benson Cancer Center opened in 2010. There's Gail, Saints owner. They donated $40 million for the expansion of the center. As Tom Benson passed away on March 15th at the age of 90. But what a great job they have done for cancer research. The Gail and Tom Benson Cancer Center. Will Lutz out there after he sliced and missed that PAT to the right. Let's go to Lisa and get an update on Adrian Peterson after that tackle.
Yeah, Tess, well, when Adrian Peterson initially came over to the sidelines, he seemed to indicate to his teammates that he was okay, but the trainer convinced him to let her take a look. He went into the medical evaluation tent. I was told that they were evaluating him for an hyperextended left knee. He went back into the tent again, but he just came out, and as you can see, he's now back out on the field.
Yeah, when you could see that left leg lock up straight when the contact happened. He was also dealing with an ankle this week. But there is Adrian Peterson at 33 years old out there doing his thing. And a nice move back to action as he's able to make 2 out of it. Change up front to the Redskins offense with injury to Laval at left guard. Roulier plays there. Bergstrom at center. They're without Josh Doxson this week. Had his heel stepped on Monday, so the receiver ranks. Crowder and Richardson will get the majority of the work. Chris Thompson, the third down back, number 25. And there is Peterson in his 12th season in the NFL after being the 7th overall pick in 2007. 2nd and 8. Smith gets it to the ageless wonder Vernon Davis for 9 yards. Saints defense, of course, the best guy up front is Cameron Jordan. Linebackers led by Demario Davis, who leads the team with 37 tackles. They're looking for better production from the defensive backfield, especially out of number 20, Ken Crawley. Smith, quick strike to Maurice Harris.
You know, Joe, I was wondering when we were going to see the run-pass option, the new wrinkles Alex Smith had in Kansas City, and he's bringing them over to him to Washington. And
That's
you saw it right there in that last
for the
one.
Saints. Marshawn Lattimore, who was last year's NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, is down on the turf. This is that end of the play there with Lattimore coming in, getting some friendly fire. We'll take a quick break as they tend to him. Highly anticipated new ABC drama, The Rookie, starring Nathan Fillion, is right around the corner. 40-year-old John Nolan starts his life over as the oldest rookie on the LAPD. Action-packed thrill ride premiering Tuesday, October 16th, 10, 9 Central on ABC.
You know, we talked about the system of Jay Gruden's offense and what Alex Smith was going to bring, some of those new wrinkles. And both that last one, that was that run-pass option that he's had so much success doing. I'm interested to see how much we see of that tonight.
Here's Peterson behind that big athletic offensive line. As I see where they mark him here. Could be right at that line to make.
You know, when you talk about the RPOs and the run-pass option, this is still a run-first football team. They have more call runs than anybody in the National Football League. They want to be physical up front, not only on defense, but especially on offense.
But it's the way they're dressing it up that's what's allowing them to be so successful with it. We saw that last one right there. Crowder went back. There's a potential of an option, all these different things. It's just the wrinkles to help that running game be more efficient.
Exactly.
Marshawn Lattimore is in the medical tent, as we saw the Saints star corner come off the field moments ago. Smith, as he checks down, and Peterson shakes free and goes ahead for another first down.
And with the way that New Orleans' defense is playing these soft zones, you're going to see Von Bell. He's back deep. He sees the check down coming underneath. He's playing the nickel slot. He's got to come up and make those tackles. When you play that cover 2 and you drop these safeties, those underneath players have to make those tackles. And Bell, 24 there, playing the nickel, he has to make that play.
Adrian Peterson was at home. He talk about a guy on the scrap heap. Hey, he's still got a lot of football left in him, Tess. He's showing you tonight.
Sure does, and he will tell you that too.
And that's one of the things Alex Smith does, though. He gets the ball out so quickly that allows Adrian to do it with his legs.
Here's a little pitch to Thompson as he just gets back to the line of scrimmage. You want to talk about the confidence of Adrian Peterson. We talked to him, hey, where are you? Where are you physically? How are you feeling? He says, I haven't fallen off at all. I still think I'm the best back in the league.
That's a bold statement, you know, and I don't know about that, but I like the confidence. You know, and he was out of football. You talk about a chip on your shoulder. Talk about one of the best running backs in the history of the NFL. And now he gets an opportunity. He says, you know what? I'm going to pounce on this. I'm going to show him that I can carry it. He looked good through the first 3 games. I mean, he's almost averaging 100 yards rushing.
2nd and 9 as Chris Thompson remains in, flanking Alex Smith. Coming after Smith, and they get to him. Cam Jordan, his 5th sack this season.
Cam Jordan said, you know what, guys? Put it on us. We can talk about our secondary on the back end, giving up big plays, but put it on us up front. Cam Jordan coming around the corner, taking Moses, just a simple in and out, and the speed of Cam Jordan, turning the corner, running the hoop, getting to the quarterback. If you're at home, you know how hard that is? Put a hula hoop down and try to turn that corner that tight. That's what Cam Jordan did.
And then the other thing he's doing now on 3rd down, he's moving inside. He's standing up in a 2-point stance. His versatility that he brings for this defense.
3rd and 15. Smith will go to Thompson. Thompson gets to the edge, and with that effort is able to get the first down.
You know, there's a lot of people that question that going out and getting Alex Smith, making that trade and bringing him over to Washington. It's plays like this. What do you do when the play breaks down? Avoid and find the open guy and allow them to do it with his legs. Those are the things that are underappreciated about Alex. And he does, as well, have a chip on his shoulder to prove himself. He's been waiting for this opportunity, Joe, for a long time.
But off schedule, Boogie, he goes for 17 yards on 3rd and 15.
That's inexcusable by the Saints defense, though.
Peterson getting around that block of Davis, and then is taken down by Von Bell.
You know, when I watch the Saints defense, that's one of the things. They fly around, they hustle, they do all those things, but it just seems like they don't play real smart sometimes. Their awareness on defense, like you see him going to check it down, you got to rally up, you know, and you just have to sense that.
There's Marshawn Lattimore as he is going off the field with the medical staff. Remember last year's Defensive Rookie of the Year, was battling an ankle injury this offseason, and he took a big hit moments ago. This is the 10th play of the drive for Washington.
Went 3 tight end set, trying to stretch the field.
Smith on 2nd and 8 to Thompson again, but to the outside and incomplete. Lisa, what can you tell us about Lattimore?
Hey, Tess, well, you saw him going off the field with the UNC, the unofficial neuro consultant, excuse me there. And we've been told whenever that happens, that means the player is being evaluated for concussion. So that's what we're going to gather from that. You saw him go off with UNC. Marshawn Lattimore, we can gather from that is being evaluated for concussion.
In this area of the field, Joe, those 4-point swings can really affect you. You get down here, you got to get first downs, and you've got to try to find a way to get 7 points. Jordan Reed's the matchup on the outside.
3rd down and 8. was Paul Richardson. What a play. Smith to Richardson.
What a play by him. They had him in the slot there, and then they worked it over top. You're going to see him. They needed somebody to step up. The little out and up. They had called that a sting route. And after you plant, you have to get on an angle back inside. Alex anticipated it. We talked about stretching the field vertically. And somebody needed to step up and say, I'm wide receiver 1. You know, you got the guys inside, and Jordan Reed and Chris Thompson, the running back out of the backfield. Somebody's got to step up on the outside. And we saw it right there from Paul Richardson.
You know, Whit, it's interesting. The Saints have played exclusively zone so far. They went man-to-man that time, and Von Bell got burned. It's amazing how, being up a lot of big plays on this New Orleans Saints defense, they've kind of softened them up. They're going to keep the ball in front of them. And the first time the Redskins get man-to-man, they attack downfield. But you have to give a shout-out to the offensive line. They blocked up a great blitz there.
Some Lattimore walk off, and now A.J. Klein is down, starting linebacker for the Saints. Manti Te'o is inactive as well tonight. And the linebacker core is thinned out a bit. Sean Payton looks on. He's been watching his defense try to hold on. 11 plays deep into a 70-yard drive. Smith on third down on this drive has been sensational. Had that 3rd and 15 that he got to Thompson for 17 yards, and then moments ago on the 3rd and 8, Richardson with a sensational catch for 23 yards.
You know, it's the same old song and dance for this New Orleans defense. They've given up on 46% on 3rd down. Inexcusable on 3rd and long, but give Alex credit. He's making plays when he needs to.
1st and goal now. Peterson. Great play taken down by Jordan. A loss of 2.
Kim Jordan's playing at a high level. You're going to see him over here. He's standing up. Okay, his job is to set the edge. He's going to get him a kick out. He doesn't allow him to have a gap, and then Adrian goes to bounce outside. That's what you do. You knock the offensive lineman inside so there's no hole, and then when he goes and bounces, you make the tackle for loss.
2nd and goal. Smith looks left, pumps that way, searching for an option, and it was Thompson trying to streak into the end zone, but it'll be 3rd and goal.
Good job at defensive end, Alex Okafor, numbers 57. He sensed that Thompson was going to go out on a swing route. That's where Alex wanted to go the ball, and he just rerouted it. He hit him hard out of the backfield and threw him off. Chris Thompson's an undersized guy, but he's just sturdy. He plays big.
So how will they cap a drive that has occupied 7 minutes and 18 seconds? 14th play.
And these are the 2 guys that really want to isolate these 2 down here on the bottom of the screen. It's good matchups on a linebacker and safety.
Pressure right up the middle and taken down by Sheldon Rankins.
They've been waiting on this guy to beat a 3 technique. Inside, rushing, coming along, just pushing the pocket and said, you know what? I'm going to make a nice turn him loose. Brandon Scherf from the Redskins, the right guard, has to come down and block. Nice little move by Rankins, but it was more a mistake by the right guard of the Redskins, Brandon Scherf. He's got to squeeze down and make that block.
And, boy, that's what I was talking about on these 4-point swings. You get down there in the red zone. That was a nice drive. You settle for 3, you know, but going against this Saint offense on the other side, you don't want to do that.
As Hopkins puts it through. And Breeze will keep going towards the goal. He's only 51 yards away from Brett Favre when we come back. Folks, we got incredible access for you tonight as Drew Brees chases history and wears the Monday Night Mic.
Thank you, lucky brother.
Thank you, Coach.
Congratulations on everything, man.
Thank you. Tonight is about us. It's about us. Hell yeah. Y'all hear me all right? All good? Hear me good? Good.
He's 51 yards away from passing Brett Favre as number 2 all-time in NFL history for passing yards. and 153 away from Peyton Manning. The numbers are staggering.
After that first drive, Joe, I'd say he's well on pace.
Yes,
he's on schedule.
You know, guys, the most amazing thing about this record is when you look at his physical stature. I stood next to Drew Brees at practice the other day, and I'm 6 feet tall. Drew Brees is not an inch over 5'10". So for a guy 5'10" to throw for the most yards in the NFL history, to me, that's an amazing feat.
Hopkins to kick away after the Skins just had to settle for a field goal when it was 1st and goal at the Saints 5. Well, these are the totals when it comes to the big three. And Brees, if everything stays the course, should soon be #1 there. 71,940 yards. What was it, about nearly 41 miles of completed passes? Peyton Manning, 153 away now. We could have history on this drive. He could move into #2 all time, 51 yards away from passing Brett Favre. And of course, lives just a short drive away. And Cameron Meredith gets the reception there, brought down by Quinton Dunbar.
He gets the ball out so quick. He has the play action game. He loves it in empty. And he has a running game. Is it 2 different guys in Lightning and Thunder that they can attack with? So he's always in command. You see him communicating with his linemen. You see him in practice, the routine, the schedule. He just does it the right way, Joe.
I think he's happy to have Thunder back in there. There's number 22, Mark Ingram, dotting the I with Zach Line, the fullback. And here is Ingram, as he is wrestled down after 5.
You're going to see Mark Ingram running up inside and making the defense feel him. And then he comes back. Sean Payton draws it up with the screenplay. You're always thinking about Kamara on the outside, but they do it with Ingram. And then the touchdown, right in the A-gap. The power, the physicality that he brings, this combo. And like I said, he loves playing football. He met the team at the charter site, and he's playing some of his best football out of that backfield the last couple years.
I think that's a great statement. After the game against the Giants, he said, as soon as it's after midnight, I'm going to be waiting for my guys.
Not sure I'd have done that, though.
Here's Brees, as on the shallow cross is Kamara. 5 more yards towards history.
And then you bring this guy in the game. And they're playing cover 2, and it's just a choice route out of the backfield for Kamara. And he's isolated on a linebacker, Zach Brown. And Drew sees that pre-snap. He knows exactly where he wants to go. Josh Norman actually came off pretty quickly, but, you know, timing and execution. I talked about how quickly Drew sees the field, and he gets it in his playmaker's hands in a hurry.
Ingram straight ahead and wrapped up by Zach Brown.
Joe, these guys have roles. Mark Ingram is a physical runner, but they want to run him inside, the inside zone, the one-back power. Now that he's back, you're going to see a lot of those runs with him. As far as Kamara, he's a guy that wants to get outside, the screens, the swing passes. They want to get that young man in space. Great game plan by Sean Payton.
We come to the end of the first quarter. It was Ingram who struck first at the 2-yard touchdown run. 39 yards away from Favre down here at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome is Drew Brees. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by GMC. Live like a pro. December 2011, Falcons Saints. That's when Brees eclipsed Dan Marino's NFL record for passing yards in a season at 5,476. A couple years later, Manning would go 1 yard better. It was a great night for these home fans. Back then, they took that jersey from that night and put it in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And representatives from the Hall of Fame are here tonight, awaiting the jersey and the football. But still work to be done in a critical game in the NFC right now, if you consider the way things are shaking out, especially considering the NFC East for the Skins. Ball is down, and Ingram quick to recover on it. That was Deron Payne at 319 pounds, who was crashing home on the fellow Alabama alum.
Just a dancing bear, man. The guy making moves, coming from the inside out, feeling the screen, not just being a blind dog in a meat house and running everywhere. He feels the offensive lineman, goes to the screen and makes a play, an athletic play. Nice job there by Payne.
Great awareness by the big guy, Bug.
Yeah.
He's really coming into his own. You know how big physical he is inside, but seeing him play that way on screen plays, that's rare.
Second and 18. Breeze with plenty of time comes to the near side to Carr, and Carr makes his way to the 49.
You know, they drafted Deron Payne this year, and they teamed him up with Jonathan Allen, who they drafted last year. He missed 11 games, so essentially they have 2 #1 picks, the Bama boys inside, and they're making a difference, not only with their physicality in the run game, but they're athletes. They can chase, just as Deron Payne did on the screenplay.
But they've got to find a way to bring some pressure. Drew Brees, with that type of time, you know, Greg Minuski, the defensive coordinator, he cannot expect that front four to hit home.
Typically get that from Ryan Kerrigan when it comes to the quarterback pressure. They do bring an extra man, and they get to him. And guess who it is? Ryan Kerrigan with his first sack as a flag comes in late. Guy who's had 47 sacks since 2014. His first of this year.
After the play was over, unnecessary roughness, number 35, defense. 15 yards will be added to the end of the play. Automatic. First down.
That was the safety, Monte Nicholson, who was coming in on the blitz.
Yeah, they decided to bring some pressure. Mark Ingram was late getting there on the play. You can see him, though, when he pushes Mark Ingram off that, you can't do that. Play's over, he's down. See him? They're going to call that every time.
He went right over the top of Kerrigan, and just such a silly penalty to get after Kerrigan comes up so big for Jay Gruden's team.
Well, that's just something you can't do. This is the second drive that the Redskins have committed a penalty that allowed the Saints to keep going on their drive. Remember the Josh Norman penalty? He was holding earlier. Now you get the personal foul. The Redskins are hurting themselves, guys.
Timeout taken by the Saints. Jay Gruden's team, the only team in the NFC East with a winning record right now. It's a big year for him. You consider the past 4 years, one playoff appearance prior. That came in 2015. Sean Payton, his 12th year with the Saints. And you see the NFC South. Panthers had that 63-yard field goal from Graham Gano to beat the Giants yesterday. Alvin Kamara on first down as he is ridden down by Mason Foster. It's interesting to look at some of the results in the NFC yesterday. Dallas Cowboys lost in overtime to the Texans. DeAndre Hopkins had that sensational catch. What'd you make of the Cowboys last night?
Well, you look at that, and that game went to overtime. Previous week, they won it on a field goal at the end there, and then against the Lions. It's a tough loss in that situation. You know, they had opportunity in 4th and 1 to potentially go for it. It's easy to second guess should he have done it or not. Houston took advantage of it.
Jerry Jones was a little outspoken with his opinion today. There's the completion to Thomas, and Thomas is all the way down inside the 15.
That's what they do, though. They run it just enough to set up the play action. And you're seeing Thomas getting in behind these linebackers on these play actions. He's going to be out to the far screen. Drew Brees, good play fake. These linebackers aren't carrying anything. And it's just throwing catch, getting in behind it. And those guys are really have no opportunity. See Fabian Moreau. He gets sucked up on that play action. Drew Brees is such a master at running that.
Brees is 7 for 7 for 93 yards. Kamara. And that is 5 yards right on the nose.
Now go back to that penalty on Nicholson there. That was a 3rd down play. You cannot allow this offense, this New Orleans offense, to get free possessions like that. That penalty is critical now. He's got the ball inside the 5-yard line.
According to the official stats that are being recorded right now, he is tied with Brett Favre for #2 all time. Second and
fade.
4. And threw it short and to the inside as Quinton Dunbar had coverage on Michael Thomas.
You're going to see Dunbar. He gets up there and challenges Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is a physical guy. You're going to see him there. He's going to ride with him, and then he knows that back shoulder's coming right there. And he goes to the right, to the back shoulder, so he cannot throw that. He knows that's where Drew wants to go. Michael Thomas actually did a good job getting his hands down. It may have been an interception.
And Whit, you're right. That's why Quinton Dunbar is the best cornerback for the Washington Redskins. That's no longer Josh Norman. That play showed you.
Now that was Breeze's first incompletion. Now 3rd and 4.
Now you got Kamara on the outside. He wants to try to get in there.
He looked that way. Now he's extending the play. Breeze being chased as a flag is down in the end zone. And he had Preston Smith coming after him.
It's like it's on Washington, Joe.
Carl Shepard's our referee tonight.
Holding, number 23. Defense, half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
Asking a lot of the DBs when Breeze is extending the play.
You know, Drew's a better athlete than you think at 39 years old.
Well, how about that spin move a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at Dunbar, I understand you're trying to be physical, but you can't grab the guy like that. That's the 3rd penalty, guys. The Redskins are playing pretty well on defense. That's the 3rd penalty where Washington has had them stop, but the penalty keeps the drive going. That's not a good formula to play defense against this guy.
3 Redskins defensive penalties, all coming on 3rd down. Play action to the end zone. Touchdown Saints, Josh Hill. Magnificent 13-play drive in which he eclipses Brett Favre in the record books.
They scheme up these plays so good. Even in the goal line, short yardage down in the close to the goal line. The play action, so big for them. Give Sean Payton a lot of credit. And he has full confidence, rightfully so, in Drew Brees.
Man, oh man, what an odd start to the night for Will Lutz. Brees is #2 all time now.
Mahomes hit as he throws it. Kelsey makes the catch. He's going to sprint for the far pylon. Touchdown!
A 3-touchdown day for Todd Gurley. He will sneak it. The Rams are going to 5-0.
Now, the Rams are 5-0 in scoring 30-plus points in every single game. As if that Kansas City offense is something to watch a little sizzle with, too.
Yeah, we talked about Patrick Mahomes. We saw it in action last week. But the Rams offense, I mean, Jared Goff, everybody talks about that system, and they're unbelievable. But really, Jared Goff's ability to make these accurate throws like he's doing, it's in the aggressive mindset. You saw him go for it on 4th and 1 to finish the game off. They didn't want to punt it. Sean McVay has a lot of confidence in this offense. And oh, by the way, Todd Gurley, yeah, he's pretty good too.
They can do it every which way. By the way, both 5-0. And on a collision course on Monday Night Football in mid-November from Mexico City. Mahomes at 14-2 touchdown to interception ratio. Most touchdowns in the NFL. And Goff has been sensational. He has 12 touchdowns. And circle that date, November 19th. Monday Night Football from Mexico City. Chiefs, Rams, the remaining unbeatens right now, Bo.
You know, Joe, when you look at that game right now, I would have to say that the Rams are the more complete team because of what they're capable of on defense when they get their 2 corners back. We know what Kansas City's capable of on offense, but the defense has to pick it up just a little bit.
And right now, Washington needs to answer. And Chris Thompson with a good start to this drive as he goes ahead for 11 yards. And leads the team in catches. Last year he got injured, and it happened right here in week 11. He fractured his leg. So he missed the final 6 games of last season.
Yeah, and Chris Thompson, I mean, he's a lot like Kamara for the Saints. I mean, he can do it running the ball like that, off the wide zone. He's incredible on the run-pass option. And out of the backfield, he is mismatched all over the field. So they really like him. He's good in protection, and he can get even more carries.
There's P.J. Williams, who's down here as well. We'll take a quick break while they tend to him. Monday Night Football here in the Big Easy, Mercedes-Benz Superdome. The ticket to have tonight as these fans are ready to celebrate their quarterback. Smith, play action. Peterson kept his balance and tiptoes the sidelines and then dismisses Anzalone.
Think that guy didn't have something to prove, Tess? Think he doesn't have something to prove? Adrian Peterson coming out of the backfield. The knock on him in Minnesota and early on in his career is that he couldn't catch the football. All he's done is show people they can do it, and then he can make the cornerback miss and get that, and he just throws the guy out of the way. Just a physicality. Once he catches the ball, he becomes a runner, and he's still doing it at a high level.
But Boog, Justin Hardy, the corner there, he's playing cover 2. That's your area. You got the flat. Come up and make the tackle.
Here's Bibbs as he goes ahead for 5.
You know, Washington's really trying to stretch the field. We talked about they need to be aggressive and try to take some shots down the field, knowing that Drew Brees is on the other side of the field. Alex is trying to do it. But what's happening is New Orleans saying, we're going to play soft, make you dump it down. And Alex got labeled that over the course of his career some, that he was a check down king. And he's trying to take these shots. They're playing soft zone. Those are exactly where the ball's supposed to go. And his guys are doing a good job with the run after catch.
By the way, P.J. Williams is back in the game. Number 26, the nickelback for the Saints. And it was batted and then falls harmlessly to the ground. It was Von Bell who was able to get to it.
To your point, Whit, Alex is doing a really good job of just being patient, taking what the defense gives him. He wants to be aggressive. That's the one thing that Kirk Cousins didn't do, but he's doing a good job of not taking a bait going into double coverage tonight.
Good call by Dennis Allen, the defensive coordinator for the Saints there. They tried to do a little quick fake and then come with a quick screen on the outside. Dennis Allen brought pressure off the outside, right in his face. He had to throw that ball a little high. Now a big 3rd down. Jordan Reed down here at the bottom of the screen and Chris Thompson going. That's one-on-one matchup across the board. They like that.
3rd down and 5. Smith is going to take a shot downfield and far beyond the outstretched arm of Jamison Crowder, who was covered by the aforementioned P.J. Williams.
That was really good defense on the back end. I was surprised he didn't work on the other side, but he likes Crowder's speed. P.J. Williams just ran with him, and he used the sideline. See there? Kind of box him out like basketball. Good awareness.
A long field goal attempt, 53-yard attempt from Dustin Hopkins. He was hitting from 61 going in this direction in warm-ups. Career long is 54. Every bit of it from 53 for Dustin Hopkins. 101 yards away from becoming the king of NFL passing yards, Drew Brees. Drew Brees passed far for 2nd on the all-time passing list. A little earlier, had a 6-yard pass to Alvin Kamara, and now just 101 yards away from becoming the all-time record holder. Of course, that is held by New Orleans native Peyton Manning. All the media has come out for this one. The national writers, the local writers, everybody has gathered to capture history. And so glad that we can be here to do it with you. We got you the access with him mic'd up tonight. Listen to how detailed Drew Brees is, reminding Sean Payton who should be on the field.
Hey, Coach, so Austin was in all week on this play. Taysom was not in all week, but okay, Austin. All right, boys, great tempo. Here we go. Good job, man. Good job, man.
You know, it's interesting, all these years, it's almost as if he's the co-offensive coordinator with Pete Carmichael and, of course, the mastermind Sean Payton.
I love that, Joe. He's so meticulous in his detail. Coach Payton, did you see him? Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, get Austin in there. I mean, what are we waiting on? You want Austin in? Put him in. That's how that conversation went.
Here's Breeze. Puts it right on the sideline there as he's able to find Traquan Smith, the rookie out of UCF, for 14 yards. And Quinton Dunbar seemingly had good coverage.
Watch this, though. The anticipation by Drew Brees. He's throwing it before he's out of the cut. Good job by Smith, dragging those toes before he gets out of bounds.
And now they're in rhythm as he goes to the 15-year veteran Ben Watson for 6 more yards.
Well, it's real smart by the Saints there. They thought there may be a question whether or not Traquan Smith was in bounds. Drew Brees hurt him to the line. He got up there, dumped it out. So just real good awareness. Traquan, yes, he was in. But they didn't know that. So he got him to the line. Quick, let's run a play. Make sure we don't lose that game.
But you know, Boog, I've been on some of those where it's like you're alerting everybody. Like the coach is putting his sign up like, hey, get on the ball, get on the ball.
Yeah.
They just line back up, get the play off real quickly.
2nd and 4, Kamara. This will be 3rd and 1 after that run, taken down by Jonathan Allen and Dunbar.
Sean Payton, he's such a good teacher. You know, we saw that catch by Traquan Smith, and he's a rookie coming in here toe tapping. I played for Sean for 3 years, my first 3 years in Dallas, and he's such a good teacher, and we saw that in full effect. They were doing a walkthrough of practice. He went over every route, the depth, the route, how you're sticking it, who you're doing it off of. He has extreme passion, loves teaching, and he has his quarterback. They're on the same page, having ultimate success.
And he's also one of the most aggressive play callers in the National Football League. You look at Sean McVay out in Los Angeles with the Rams, the aggressive calls that he made yesterday, and think about what Sean Payton can do here. To me, those are the 2 most aggressive play callers in the National Football League.
And consider what he's done with this quarterback through these years. The most games together for a head coach and a starting quarterback, they're right there on the list.
Yeah, they're right there joining them. I mean, it starts with some of those guys that, you know, you think of Brady, you think of Belichick. I mean, there's so many good ones out there that these guys have had, and being on the same side of the ball, that's what makes this thing so special.
Yeah.
179 games together. Payton has 115 wins as the Saints head coach, and all 115 are with Breeze. And Taysom Hill, the Swiss Army knife of a quarterback, is in on 3rd and 1. And he runs over a man to go ahead for the first down. That was 265-pound Preston Smith, who he went right through. Taysom Hill.
It's incredible what they're doing with this guy. And they're running the zone read with him. He keeps it. He's playing quarterback. He runs over an outside linebacker.
2nd season has a long and winding path that began at BYU. And he will do it all. You'll see him play quarterback, and tailback, and tight end, and special teams. Breeze trying to come back to the near side to Mark Ingram. You go back and you think about his career at BYU. I mean, he was a star there as the quarterback, but he had to deal with injuries, suffered season-ending injuries in 4 of his 5 seasons at Taysom Hill. But he finished his career as BYU's 5th all-time leading rusher. Powerful, fast, dynamic. You talk to the coaches around here, and they'll say one of the best overall athletes we've ever seen.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, Coach Payton said nobody wants to race the guy. That's how fast he is.
They've clocked him at a 4.42.
Comparing him to Steve Young. Steve Young, what comparison?
Ingram on 2nd and 10 gets loose. And Mark Ingram, as a flag comes down at the end of that play when Josh Norman was going low on him. 7 yards as it stands right now for Ingram.
Holding. Number 85. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Saints' first penalty tonight.
And now this is an opportunity for this Redskins defense. They've committed penalties to keep New Orleans Saints drive going. Now the Saints commit one. behind in the down and distance. It's going to be second and long. You got to make a couple of plays here to get off the field. Do you come after him, or do you drop back and play zone? Drew Brees has killed him in zone. They got to get a little pressure on him, in my opinion.
And I love looking at Sean Payton as he looked at his offensive script, you know. All those plays, it's like a Cheesecake Factory menu. That guy's got, man.
Second and 17. Wide open, and Cameron Meredith is going to set him up. Two-yard reception.
You're going to see Drew Brees. You got 3 verticals going deep, and they just get past the seam. The landmarks that these guys are on, Drew anticipates it, and then they put a drag coming right in his face so he can see it. Sean Payton said, we need one of these outside guys to step up. We see it right there with Cam Meredith having a huge opportunity to get this team in the red zone.
And look who's in at quarterback again. Taysom Hill. Keeps it. Can he get to the edge? As he charges down inside the 3, tracked down by Zach Brown.
And if you're the Redskins, when Taysom Hill comes in the game, right now, all they're showing you is zone read, and he's keeping it. He may be reading it, but he's keeping the ball. You got to hit him and make him get rid of the football.
And what makes it so tough is, as a defensive coordinator, what do you play to that? Do you treat him like a receiver, a running back? Certainly not like a quarterback in some cases, but he did throw it last week, too.
And now both quarterbacks in the game together. As Hill is the wing to the near side for second and goal. They're dealing with that pylon on the near side here, as it was slightly off its mark. Number 7 and number 9 in there at the same time. Taysom Hill. He's been in a couple of times here on this 8-play drive, and now Brees will be under center. Ingram straight ahead, searching for his second touchdown of the night, but coming up just short. It was DJ Swearinger filling that hole and making that fit.
You know, staying on Taysom Hill, I mean, he played wing right there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I played that wing position. It's a tight end spot, you know, and I know tight ends aren't the most physical in the world, but he's blocking the edge on the perimeter on a run game. So he does it all, man. Quick, athletic, and now he's blocking.
Including being a kick returner as well. As we said, the Swiss Army knife of the NFL.
Saints bringing in extra lineman and a fullback. Don't play the power game.
Hard left.
Third and goal. Ingram in for the score.
They went with the jumbo tight end. That's the power play with his fullback leading up. He does just enough to get across there.
Watch him break the plane.
And that's the thing that the Saints have to do. We know about Drew Brees and the passing game, but when you get down in the red zone, you got to be physical and run the ball in. Nice job there by Mark Ingram.
And finally, it's not an adventure with an extra point from Will Lutz. 2 rushing touchdowns for Mark Ingram in this first half, in his first game back after the 4-game suspension. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by the new film First Man, only in theaters and IMAX this Friday. This was October of 2012. Chargers and Saints. Drew Brees breaking Johnny Unitas' NFL record of 47 straight games with a touchdown pass. That streak would end at 54 games. That record book is getting thick with the name of Drew Brees. Most completions in NFL history, the highest single season completion percentage, the most 5,000-yard passing seasons, and tonight 35 yards away from eclipsing Peyton Manning for the ultimate passing mark, passing yards. That is Frenchie, very well-known local artist who is capturing this night that these fans will remember forever. Boy, he gets after it, doesn't he? Man, look at this guy go.
Got his earplugs in and all.
You know, when I broadcast world title fights, I talk about hand speed. I think Frenchie's like Bud Crawford there.
Floyd Mayweather also, baby.
I see you getting the Floyd in there, bud.
Yeah, you know it.
Here's Danny Johnson on the return. Oh, and he was met hard just beyond the 20-yard line. That was Craig Robertson charging in.
You know, this Washington offense now, they got to be able to bounce back. The mentality, they got to bring it, but you're going to see on this return. Watch Craig Robertson, veteran backup linebacker. Boom! Meet Joe Black.
I felt that one up here, man. Man! When you talk about the Washington offense, here's how the New Orleans Saints want to play. Very similar to how we played in Indy. You get a lead with the offense. Now the defense can play with speed and play downhill. The Redskins can't force it. They can still run the football. Have to be patient here.
Going to set up the screen to Thompson and dragged down by big Sheldon Rankins coming from behind. You know, Jay Gruden, Redskins coach, he was talking to us yesterday about what happened last year down here. He knows that you have to press the gas pedal against the Saints.
No question. Now they're going in right before halftime. He's got to get some points, put some drives together, come away with points. He's going to do it by stretching the field.
Last year he had the big lead down here, and then the Saints roared back with 19 unanswered and one in overtime. 2nd and 7. Smith and Harris off the mark.
You know, you can pass it off inside with your tight ends. You know, I'm surprised Jordan Reed doesn't have a target yet. But outside the perimeter of the field, the corners are beat up for New Orleans Saints. You got to attack these guys. Double moves. You talk about changing field possession, getting a big play. It just takes one of them. But right now, they're missing on these short, quick hitch routes. You cannot do that. You got to run the depth and get in and out of the cut.
But that goes against everything that the Redskins do. They throw the football over the middle of the field with the tight end, and the Saints' weakness is on the outside. They're going to have to make an adjustment to attack the New Orleans Saints' weakness.
Already their 5th time in 3rd and 7 or longer tonight. That was batted at the line of scrimmage.
This New Orleans Saints defense, they've heard all the noise. We're giving up the bombs across the field. They came to play tonight. 3rd down, bringing a 5-man pressure, getting in Alex Smith's face, and getting off the field.
Well, they were able to get the timeout in. As we've got confirmation now that Jay Gruden's timeout request was granted.
Wow.
That was good timing.
I'd say.
It seemed awful late, though, man.
Well, play clock was running down. Smith snapped it, but Gruden was asking for the timeout. So they will reset things here for a 3rd and 7 again.
But you referenced about going across the middle and trying to work in that part of the field.
Right.
What New Orleans is doing is they're dropping those backers inside, so they're freeing up.
Right.
So the ball's saying it's got to go outside. But Dennis Allen knows. He says, hey, who's going to be the guy out there on the outside that's going to beat us? They like their matchups. So now they're going to put Jordan Reed on the outside. Try to take advantage of that matchup and see what they can get.
2nd chance at 3rd and 7. There's Reed going in motion. Now the number 2 receiver in the slot to the near side. Pressure comes up the middle, and they just thundered down on him. That was Marcus Davenport, the 1st-round draft pick, who was thundering in on Alex Smith.
Yeah, Davenport, they've been talking about him. Coming up here, the 1st-round draft pick. He was raw, but he's long, and he's going against Trent Williams, and then he comes back underneath. He delayed that game they ran with the tackle on the end. It's a delayed stunt. Boog, you know about that so well. The patience of the end to allow the tackle to come do the work on the outside and come back underneath there. He showed why he has some ability.
He was the skyrocketing prospect of the draft last year. There's a challenge flag that has been thrown. Sean Payton is talking things over with the official.
Well, I think they're trying to figure out exactly what Sean wants to challenge.
Exactly.
New Orleans is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass. We'll review the play.
So the difference between an incomplete pass and a fumble is the call to order for Sean Payton. We'll take a quick break and come back with what they say. Call is confirmed as an incomplete pass.
Does a good job just holding on to it enough and then throwing it forward. Good job by Alex. But what a rush by Davenport.
Yeah,
Davenport is something, isn't he, Boog?
Yeah, absolutely. They call it a natural game. He feels the 3 technique in front of him, and he just falls underneath. If you're an end out there, when the 3 technique hits the B gap, you don't have to turn the corner. Come underneath. The sack will be there all night long.
So Tressway with a sky-high knuckler. And he's fielded by Kamara as a flag is down back at the 11-yard line. See if there's a roughing call here.
I think it's going to be of the 5-yard variety here. He's talking to Jay Gruden and he's telling him, hey, it's only 5.
Well, it's 4th and 7.
Right, exactly.
So that matters.
Yes.
Jay's working him hard over there, though.
Yeah, he's saying, man, that was a personal foul.
That was David Onyemata who was coming in against Tressway.
Running into the kicker defense. That penalty's declined. First down.
Well, we told you that the moment would soon arrive. The moment when Brittany, who's holding Rylan, their 4-year-old daughter of Drew Brees and Brittany, and the 3 boys would have to head to the field because of the anticipation of history. We didn't know that they would head to the field this early, but it's been that kind of a first half for Brees, who has 166 yards and finds himself now only 35 yards away from becoming the NFL's all-time leading passer in yardage, the ultimate passing record. So the family's on the field in anticipation of celebration. Will we get it here before halftime?
How about those 4 kiddos, though, being able to get down on that field, what they're going to experience. Incredible.
Brees. Wide open. Wide open. And Smith. What a way to do it. There's only one word that comes to mind. Greatness. Right there, right now, that moment. There is the ball. And that ball is going to be headed to Canton, Ohio. A 62-yard touchdown pass is the way that Drew Brees fittingly goes into the record book. The white gloves are on the Hall of Fame president, David Baker. His wife, Brittany, as he receives hugs from Kalen, Balin, Bowen, and his beautiful daughter, Rylan. Soak it in, Drew. Well earned. And to think that he does it here at home on a Monday night. In front of these fans and in this city, where when he first came here, they desperately needed a hero. And he needed to be one. He has told the story time and again of he needed somebody to believe in him. Tears in the Crescent City. That's how much this man means to these people. Remember, they missed an extra point earlier, so Breeze is going to be on the field as they go for two. And he's going to be split out as Taysom Hill is in the shotgun. Breeze is to the top of your screen. And Taysom Hill is taken down short. A 62-yard touchdown pass to Traquan Smith for the all-time mark.
And it's only fitting. He stands in that pocket, fakes him off on the outside, gets the corner, Josh Norman, to come up, and drops it right in there on the sidelines. And it's for a touchdown. That's only fitting, guys. You see it again as he throws it. So congratulations, Drew. You know, Joe, he's a great player, but he has done it the way it's supposed to be done the entire time in the NFL. Drew Brees, I know I speak on behalf of all the kids out there in the country. I got 4 of them that are watching. Thank you for the role model that you are.
And I completely agree with you, Whit. You know, for a guy to do it the right way, when this city needed somebody, Drew Brees was here. And as someone that's from Louisiana, I know exactly what this city needed. I know exactly how the relationship was built between Drew Brees and New Orleans, Louisiana. They're synonymous with each other. They go together. And for him to do it in front of this crowd, being one of the most accurate quarterbacks, and doing it on a play like that. Sean Payton, how about him? The play call, going for the juggler, a big play. How fitting does he get the record on that play in this building, in this city? Those two go together.
And you know, Bug, I did a sit down with him, and the number of times he said we and us and together. That's what this guy's all about. He recognizes it's about everybody a part of this team, Sean Payton, this ownership, this organization.
Well, with the celebration penalty on the touchdown, think about that. We get the kickoff from the 20 as another flag is down. Remember, he's wearing the Monday Night Mic, and this was the moment.
Ready? We're ready. What's that?
I love you, bro. I love you, bro. I love you, buddy.
Hey, boys! How about that, huh? Yeah. How about that? Hey, I love you guys so much. Hey, you're going to accomplish anything in life you're willing to work for, right? I love you, boys. I love you. Thank you, Coach. Come on, let's go win the game now, all right? Come on.
You can accomplish anything in life that you work for. At the moment of the highest heights individually in his career, obviously won a Super Bowl. That was the message he delivered to his sons. And here's Richardson getting loose. Just absorb that for a moment.
So it's incredible, and he's the greatest example of that we've ever seen in the National Football League. The guy's not 6 foot. And it's incredible that he shares that message with his kids because he's exemplified that throughout his career.
What an unbelievable moment that we were able to just capture there. Drew Brees with his boys, letting them know that message at that moment.
And Tess, you think of where he came from. There was a certain point he was only given a 25% chance that he would ever play with the shoulder injury.
So look at him right there.
Yeah.
He's looking at the tablet. He's talking to offensive coordinator Pete Carmichael. He's not worried about the lead, saying, hey, look, they're playing this coverage. Let's come back and do this. That's what he is. He's been that way every step of the way throughout his career, all the adversity.
Thompson is taken down after a gain of 1. He got it done in the first half. Drew Brees, nobody's done it better. The all-time passing yard king. Reaction is pouring in as to what we just saw here. Drew Brees is now the all-time leading passer. Russell Wilson says, "You've inspired me." Dan Marino said, "That was special," and doing it with a touchdown. And Reggie Bush says, "Drew Brees, greatest competitor, hands down best quarterback I've ever played with." Who dat? 3rd and 9 now for the Skins. And a roar here in the dome. Has thrown just beyond Jamison Crowder. That was P.J. Williams with coverage. And the Skins will be punting away.
That pressure of New Orleans front four is just pushing the pocket. Alex is having to just extend these plays and just trying to throw it, anticipating where they're going to be because he cannot see it.
This way, punting away to Kamara. He fields it in the midst of traffic. Reminder coming up, it's the commercial-free Genesis halftime show. Can't wait to hear Susie and Louis Riddick and Steve Young's reaction to what we all just experienced. SVP will have an interview with Jared Goff, the undefeated Rams. And Lil Wayne is the special performance. Great night from here in New Orleans. Whit, we've had a lot of magical nights in this league, but that moment of Drew turning to his boys and saying you can accomplish anything if you work hard is right up there.
It is. It puts chills on my arms thinking about it, Joe.
As he was being pressured by the fine-looking rookie Deron Payne. Payne's going to be a beast in this league for years to come. Of course, he was sensational right here in this building as the defensive MVP for Alabama in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah, Joe, when you look at him, why he's going to be successful, look how he's built. Thick on the lower body, very thin ankles. He's an athlete. The ability for him to play the run with physicality, but also be a dancing bear with them small ankles, unreal.
Hey, we were in the elevator with him yesterday. I mean, you guys are big guys, but Payne came in that elevator. There wasn't room for me.
But Brees isn't done, guys. That's not what this is about. He's going to stay aggressive.
And he is as he gets it to the outside. The Kamara for 4 more yards, run down by Dunbar. It's an amazing first half for Brees. He's up to 232 yards. You know, we were all sitting around all week saying, when do you think the record will come? Maybe mid-3rd quarter. Forget that. They had other plans tonight. Sean Payton was dialing it up, and 62 yards later, Brees connected to Traquan Smith for the history maker.
But think about his career. 2004 with the 4th pick, the Chargers draft Phillip Rivers.
Yep.
And he's gone on to have an incredible career.
And then as Book mentioned, a doctor saying, yeah, you got about a 25% chance to continue on in your career. Add to it, as he's able to get it to Cam Meredith.
He just continued to work every single day. 25% chance. He was not going to allow the outside to define him in his career. And it showed with the message to the kids, how this city's embraced him, how he's embraced this city. Special to be around it, Joe. It really is.
And Whit, if you think about it, Whit, if he had been healthy, he probably wouldn't even be in New Orleans. Nick Saban, who was in Miami, would have taken Drew Brees instead of Dante Culpepper.
Now, wait a minute, Boog. Can you imagine that domino effect? Are you telling me then Saban wouldn't have gone to Alabama? The whole world wouldn't be the same, Boog. For more on Brees, here's Lisa.
Hey, Tess, and Sean Payton was telling me that no one was even thinking about a record like this back in 2006. The challenge was just getting Brees healthy. In the offseason programs, he could only run handoffs. Think about that. He wasn't allowed to throw the ball at all. Once he got to training camp, he could just throw 25 passes a day the first week, just 50 passes a day the second week. Payton said it wasn't until the second game of the regular season against the Green Bay Packers that he saw him make a deep throw to Marcus Colston and thought, that guy's coming back. He's back.
Now, Lisa, that's why we use that word. You and I were talking this week, improbable. if you think about the early career, the mid-career, that moment you described, that it would end up being Drew Brees who celebrated like this. That is a live ball there. And on the return here is McPhee. Washington desperate for something.
Probably going to need to take a look at that just to see, did he have control of the ball when he caught it? Got it.
Ruling on the field is a completed pass. Subsequently fumbled, recovered by the defense. First down, Washington.
You're going to see Meredith. I think it's a catch. And I don't even think Moreau gets his hand in there. He just kind of bobbles it as he's going to tuck it. One.
Let's bring in our rules expert, Jeff Triplett. Trip, what do you see?
Now, I think they're probably going to look at this and say it's an incomplete pass because he barely starts to get that third foot down. I don't know that he gets it all the way down. See, there's the first step. He sticks it. There's the second. Now you can see the ball start coming out before he gets that third foot all the way down.
I thought it came out.
Yeah, I think we have to look at it at real speed. It's easy to look at in slow-mo, but I think when they look at it upstairs, it was the real speed look.
Yeah, they're going to confirm it because he said he had his third foot down.
Just listen to me, Trip. I can help you.
Smith underneath, inside the 5 is Jamison Crowder. 13 yards there, and Washington could really use this right before half. Saints' first turnover in their last 12 quarters, and can they now cash in, can the Skins?
Crowder, just good feel, hooking up right there in the zone. Alex puts it on him. Good conversion.
Redskins need touchdown. They cannot settle for field goals in the red zone.
Down 20. Thompson couldn't get free of Von Bell. Nice job wrapping up the legs. A loss of 1.
And I'm surprised Washington, with the strength of this offensive line, Bill Callahan, he prides himself in the short yardage in that area of the field and the goal line, and Peterson's not in the game in this part of the field. They've always been able to get underneath these guys on the line and get movement on that defensive line. Not tonight.
Timeout used by Washington. They have 1 left, 29 seconds before the half. Want to remind you that we've got a Big Ten matchup on the ABC prime time. Number 15, Wisconsin, going to the Big House to take on 12th ranked Michigan. Coverage will start at 7:30 Eastern, and College Game Day will also be in Ann Arbor. So Reese, Kirk, Coach, Dez, Maria, David. Dez back there in Ann Arbor, the Heisman Trophy winner from '91. Surely he will be chirping for that Big Ten matchup. Should be a great weekend of college football on ESPN and ABC, topped off by Wisconsin and Michigan.
You know, this is a very critical part of the game right now. Yeah, the Redskins are down 20. If you get a touchdown here, it's a 2-score game. Let's just go back to last year when Washington had a 2-score lead and New Orleans came back. So I know we've celebrated Drew Brees in the record, but if you're the Redskins, you punch this in for a touchdown, and this is still a ball game in the second half.
And you got to think Jordan Reed at the top of the screen, going against Bell, one-on-one action. He's the weapon they really like outside on a solo play.
Diamond formation, bottom of your screen with Thompson. Instead, it's Smith who runs it in himself.
Really good call, spreading them out, getting the 4 guys on a diamond set outside. Let Alex see it. He just sees the box. He's got 5 for 5, and he runs it in. One of the reasons why they put Jordan Reed out there is just to fake it to him. Hold that safety, and he had numbers. Good call by Jay Gruden. And like you said, Boog, now regroup.
Yes.
2-score game. As bad as you've played, I'm going in the locker room, I'm telling my team, hey, guys, forget it. The record's over with, all that stuff. We played bad, regroup, and we got a new half.
Completely agree with.
Washington got exactly what they needed after the fumble return. On a night of history for Brees, 250 yards, as he's now the all-time leading passer in NFL history. The former record holder, Peyton Manning, offered words of congratulations to the NFL's new all-time passing leader.
Drew, congratulations on this record. You've done it the right way. All your hard work and dedication have paid off. You and I have come a long way since this picture back in 2000 when you were in college and I was in my 3rd year in the NFL. So, way to go. Proud of you. Good luck the rest of the way.
It's a great scene to see them back in the day. First, he was drafted by the Chargers in 2001 draft. Came in November of 2001 to replace Doug Flutie. And the first time that Breeze was back to pass, he was sacked and he fumbled.
That was the start of adversity, and it continued to snowball for him for a few years out there in San Diego.
And then 18 seasons, guys, of meticulous work, of constant preparation, overcoming adversity, overcoming doubters, and so reliable. And tonight delivering.
Well, you know, Joe, the one thing, and I've been around him a lot in Pro Bowls and different events over the years, is his competitive mindset. I've seen him in competitions where he's wanted to beat the other quarterbacks. I've seen him work, seen him train, and to be doing it in his 18th year now, 39 years old, and how he does it, who he is. I mean, talking about coaching his kids' flag football team this weekend.
Talking about it, he'll go on for hours about that. He is so passionate and so competitive.
A true role model, an ambassador for this game, and it's great to see it happen here tonight.
Did it in style, didn't he, folks? The 62-yard touchdown pass to become the all-time passing yards leader. 26-13. Saints are going to get the ball to start the second half. We'll see what Breeze can add to a special night. But for now, we're going to join Susie Colbert for the commercial-free Genesis halftime show starting right now.
I have never seen a guy compete quite like this guy.
We talk about a guy on the scrap heap. He's still got a lot of football left in him.
And Ingram gets loose.
They call him Thunder and Lightning. You can guess which one he is.
To the end zone. Touchdown, Saints. Wide open. What a way to do it. And what a way to do it means that he is number 1 now. The NFL's all-time passing yards leader is Drew Brees with 250 yards with and 2 touchdown passes in that first half. A 26-13 lead for the hometown Saints. And he hit 8 different receivers. The 62-yarder to the rookie.
Yeah, he was just incredible how he played in that first half. He knew about, we were all talking about it coming into this game. But when you watch this guy go down the field with his running game, with his passing game, with his running backs out of the backfield, it was incredible to watch how this guy went about his game. But here was the play that we saw, the record. Look at that little shoulder fake to draw Monroe inside, and he gets in behind it. And there's Armstead, his left tackle, giving him the big hug. And with this, boys, hard work, boys. Anything you want to accomplish, you can. And then, of course, his coach, Sean Payton. That was so special to see. But what I loved about it is immediately the next visual we saw was him looking at the tablet.
That's right.
Talking about, we got to go out there and win the game is what he told Sean Payton. And that's his mindset. That describes him better than anything that we can say of how he approaches it.
But yet, guys, we've got a ball game here because Alex Smith had the 4-yard rushing touchdown just before the half.
Yeah, just like last year, it was a 2-score game, and the Saints made the comeback. The Redskins are going to try to do the same. And the Redskins can still be in this game. They just have to make sure they settle down and play football. Still a lot of football left to play in the second half.
You know, Alex Smith said that they're a gritty team. This is how they want to approach it. And so they're going to fight. They know where they're at. They got a gift there with the fumble. Was able to capitalize on it. Jay Gruden probably told his team, like we said, forget about it, move forward. It's a two-score game. We're right in there.
Here's Taysom Hill, the do-it-all guy on the return. As he muscles his way just past the 25. Lisa.
Hey, Tess, well, I asked Sean Payton what the emotions were like in the locker room just now, and he said, hey, we are focused on winning this ball game. That's all we're thinking about right now. But about the play that broke the record, he said that they both knew that they were close when they dialed up the play. And as Sean said, it just worked out fantastically.
We had a funny feeling, didn't we, when we visited with him, that they wanted it to be something special.
Yeah.
They wanted the big strike.
I wish they could take credit for that. I know how hard this game is. You know, those two are special. I don't know that they could predict that they're going to get a touchdown on the play, but Drew deserves that.
Next Gen says the most wide open touchdown they've had this year.
Ready. Ready. Set.
Kamara for 3.
You know, as much as we talk about Drew Brees and the record, the Washington Redskins haven't played bad tonight. It's been a lot of miscues. Josh Norman, holding penalty on 3rd down, kept the drive going, led to a touchdown. Monte Nicholson, personal foul on 3rd down, kept the drive going. Then the record breaker. Yeah, Drew, great pass, but it's a blown coverage by the Washington Redskins. They haven't played bad. They need to correct the miscues, and they can be in this football game, guys.
There's Booger's perspective, elevated above the field level. As Brees lofts it for Hill, and Hill is still making his way down the sideline as he was stiff-arming Mason Foster for 23 more yards to Brees' total.
So Drew Brees off the play action is going to get a little quick screen back on the other side to his tight end. The way they draw these plays up, the defenses just don't know how to react to it. Forget about the busted coverage. It's these plays that saw. We saw Mark Ingram earlier on that screen game. That's what Sean Payton does. He works all week on self-scout and then coming up with plays that can change the game.
Ingram from the I formation as paving the way with Zach Line for 5 yards.
And when you talk about the screen game, it's the play calling by Sean Payton. They run more screens than anybody in the National Football League. And then you marry that with the run game. And then we're going to take the deep shots. And then they have Michael Thomas coming across. I think Sean Payton is one of the most dynamic, aggressive play callers that we have in the National Football League. Him and Sean McVay does a great job. Him and Drew Brees are calling it up.
And Greg Minuski, the defense coordinator for the Redskins, he was brought in here to bring some toughness to this front, this defensive front. They need to get a stop here. They got to get some pressure.
And another completed strike from Brees as he goes to Ben Watson for 8 more.
It's just so easy for Drew. Gets back in there, they're playing these soft zones, and he's just working through it. The Redskins have got to challenge him on the outside. Be aggressive, create some pressure. This is not the way they wanted to start, obviously.
Remember, Josh Norman hasn't been in since halfway through that first half. Brees has hit on his last 6. Taysom Hill is in the slot. See, big number 7, now he comes in motion. Brees downfield, and in stride is Smith again. Oh, what a night. Everybody was concentrating on the all-time passing yard mark. Guess what? Could be more history ahead with another touchdown. He's knocking on the door of 500.
And Greg Stroman just gets beat on the outside, guys. I mean, he allows Smith to run right by him. You got to get up and play a little bit more physical. It's too easy for the most accurate quarterback ever in the NFL.
That was rookie on the outside. Smith going against Stroman. Have a night, Traquan Smith.
When this weekend started in the NFL, Tom Brady reached 500. Drew Brees is now 1 touchdown pass away from joining the 500 club.
It's about us. It's about us. It's about our strength, our love. I love you, bro. I love you, bro. I love you, buddy. Thank you, coach. Come on, let's go win the game now. All right, come on.
Thanks for all you've done for the game, buddy. We'll guard this forever, I promise.
Thank you. Hey, boys! How about that, huh? Yeah. How about that? Hey, I love you guys so much. Hey, you're going to accomplish anything in life you're willing to work for, right? I love you, boys. I love you. I love you.
Congratulations. Go win this game.
Let's go win a game, guys. All right.
That's the Monday Night Mike on the night when Drew Brees becomes the all-time passing yard record holder. All the thank yous, all the I love yous, but then followed by let's go win the game.
By
right
his
now-
wife.
Yes, exactly.
Gotta love that.
All she's got to worry about is going back up to the luxury suite with those beautiful children and taking it all in. And we just reminded you, listen, he's got 3 touchdown passes. He's got another big record that could come his way. He's sitting on 499. The 500 club is elite company. Tom Brady just got in on Thursday. There's Manning. And you saw Favre. And this was number 499 moments ago. And again, it was Traquan Smith, a 35-yard touchdown. This is rare
Play
air.
was over. Unsportsmanlike conduct, taunting, number 52, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down Washington. That's his first foul with regard to disqualification.
Now, folks, consider where he is if he gets another touchdown pass to be in the 500 club, and the fact that we would have had 2 players reaching that in the same weekend. You go through milestones. It would be the first time in NFL history 2 players reached either 200 passing touchdowns, 300 passing touchdowns, 400, and yet it could happen at the 500 plateau. Only 3 men, as it stands right now, have 500 touchdowns in the history of the league. Can Breeze get there? And can Smith get the skins back into this thing? As he goes underneath to Thompson for 5. And another flag is down. Carl Cheffers, our referee who officiated Super Bowl 51. The Patriots thriller over the Falcons. First Super Bowl in history, of course, to go to overtime.
It's getting chippy out there, Joe.
There's no foul on the play for unnecessary roughness. Second down.
You know, if you're the Redskins, right now you're down 20 points. This score has forced them to come out of their comfort zone. You can't run it more than any team in the league right now. Alex Smith is going to have to drop back, throw the football to Jordan Reed, get it to Paul Richardson on the outside. You got to throw the ball to get back into this game down 20.
Thompson able to find that crease for 5 yards to midfield.
You know, the Saints defense came in tonight as a question mark. So far, they've held Reed to no targets. Peterson has just had 6 yards, and they've got 2 sacks. So if you're Washington, knowing that is the case offensively, you got to think that you got to get a big strike down the field.
Yeah, and if you're Washington, you got to speed the tempo up. Hey, I understand running the football, but have some urgency to get back in this football game.
Playing soft zone in behind it, but you may think Paul Richardson with that speed, that's why they brought him in here, taking shots eventually.
Smith will find Thompson again. Remember, he came in leading the team in catches.
And I do like what Jay Gruden's doing. You know, just take it 1 possession at a time. You can't get it all back on 1 possession. Chris Thompson underneath, they're playing off coverage. And that's what Jay Gruden needs to do. He schemes up these guys open. He doesn't worry about his system, focus about what his players cannot do. Rather, he focuses on what they do well. And we need that to show up at this part of the field.
I need him to take some shots down the field. This Saints defense has given up nuclear plays over the top. Take some shots.
Instead, they go inside again with Thompson, and he was stacked up for a loss of 2. That was Taylor Stallworth creating the wall.
And this Bill Callen offensive line, you know, 2nd and 3, thinking you can get a first down and get a new set of downs. And they're getting minus plays. You've got to be able to block up front. The penetration of the Saints defensive line is giving them fits.
I'll say this, at this point in the game, down 20, on the plus side of the field, this is 2-down territory if they don't get it here.
Third down and 5. A-gap pressure. They pick it up. Smith gets it shallow under and reaching out for Vernon Davis for the first down.
You're going to see him. They're just going to play man-to-man coverage on him. He's going to have that opportunity. And Vernon's coming on the drag, but I really like Jordan Reed on the back going across the field. Good play by Vernon. Understand it's man coverage and running. Alex is throwing it on him. I'd rather see Vernon just give a little bit more of a stick. Try to get some separation on that before he comes across on the drag. Maybe he has an opportunity for some run after catch. Regardless, good to get the first down.
Hey, 56, 56.
There's the dangerous guy up top, Richardson. As Maurice Harris signals back into Smith as well. And a lot of open area at first that time for Thompson as he goes for 5 more.
The Saints defense is just playing soft coverage, forcing them back underneath. And that's what happened to Washington earlier in the year. They played Indianapolis. They saw a little bit of the same thing. So they're going to have to be able to check it down and didn't do it with their legs after the catch.
And as the Saints get closer to the red zone, Dennis Allen is going to dial up some blitzes for this defense. They'll play more man-to-man. That's when Washington can take their shot.
Adrian Peterson back in at running back. Only 4 carries for 6 yards tonight. Smith off play action. As Richardson unable to get past Vaughn Bell.
Bell missed some tackles earlier in the game, and then they're having awareness, using the sideline as his friend, making a tackle, forcing a 3rd down. Again, Boog, as you said earlier, 3rd down here, you're probably going to go for it on 4th down as well, so it's 2-down territory.
Yep.
Third and 2. He's got Davis downfield and to the outside of Vernon Davis. So it'll be 4th down.
They try to just run a little bootleg to get him on the outside. You're going to see Davis coming in there, sneaks in behind him. Alex a little late throwing that ball. Safe with it, seeing Williams coming there. But you look on the outside, Maurice Harris, Michael Floyd, Paul Richardson, Jamison Crowder. They haven't said their names much tonight. Now they got a 4th and 2.
4th and 2. To pass on 4th down. And it's intercepted. Justin Hardy. With blockers in front. Hardy weaving his way inside the 5 and finally tracked down by Jordan Reed. The backup corner who's in for injured Marshawn Lattimore just did that.
Yeah, and Alex just got off the read and tried to get back there to it. He should have got there right away because it was open. And then Hardy fell into coverage because he came to it. I do not know why he waited to get through that read and get back out there. Good adjustment by Hardy. They're trying to get him on the perimeter to get it out quick and then take a shot. And Alex knows it. He knows he got back there late. Can't miss that one.
And remember, with that ball sitting inside the 5, we could have history again for Drew Brees. He has 499 career touchdowns. Can he join the club? Flag is down as Kamara is sent back. As Payne and Brown were coming in on Kamara.
Illegal motion. Number 10, offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
Well, and Sean Payton understands. Just like Sean Payton knew when the record came for the yardage, he knows where Drew Brees is right now. It really wouldn't surprise me right now if we get a little play action and 500 touchdown right here in front of us, guys.
Manning, Favre, and Brady, the only players in NFL history with 500 passing touchdowns. A near flawless night. Can it get better?
Watch the tight end.
Getting to the 2, and a penalty comes down at the end of the play was Ben Watson as he was matched up with Zach Brown.
I think we're going to have a horse collar here maybe on the tackle.
They were trying to get that one for Drew, though.
Yeah.
They really were. That was a little delayed inside zone and then
Personal
sneak
foul,
out.
horse collar tackle. Number 53, defense, half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
You're going to see it. Ben was trying to get out to the outside off the play action. He got it. They're going to.
Yeah, you just can't put your hand inside the shoulder pad. You can touch it, but the moment you yank down on it, they're going to call that personal foul. That's a safety issue. You don't want to put an offensive player in a situation where he could get hurt like that. But once again, Sean Payton knows where we are. Taysom Hill's in the game, though, guys, at quarterback.
Taysom Hill, the quarterback. Hill. Touchdown, Saints.
You're going to see him. They just pull the tackle on the outside. His ability to get on the perimeter. That's what they want to do. Good block by Ramczyk in on the edge. Austin Carr setting it, and then the speed of Taysom Hill to get the perimeter. His package just continues to grow and grow, Joe.
Oh, Sean Payton refers to him as a future star quarterback. Taysom Hill with the rushing touchdown. All Saints, all night. Make that the post-game meal. I'm all in. It's Monday Night Football's here in New Orleans. Joe Tessitore, Jason Witten, Booger McFarland, Lisa Salters. Redskins came in only allowing 14.7 points per game. That was #1 in the NFL through week 4. 40-13 right now. Of course, coming up on SportsCenter with SVP, total perspective on Drew Brees breaking the all-time mark. He may get another one before it's all said and done. Plus, the Red Sox and Yankees Game 3 analysis and bad beats. And were there plenty this weekend? SportsCenter with SVP on ESPN after we get done with Monday Night Football from New Orleans. How many times do you think you're going to be hearing over the course of the next 24 hours and for years to come that moment with Brees, with his beautiful daughter and the 3 boys of you can accomplish anything in life if you're willing to work for it. Right now, Washington needs a lot of work. As Smith will connect with Richardson, the free agent who came over from Seattle.
Yeah, and I still don't see Washington having any urgency. I understand you're down. It's Drew Brees' night. But if you're Jay Gruden and your job is on the line this season, where's the urgency? You're not playing for tonight. You're playing for the rest of the season. Get some urgency and get to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, you got to build on something, Bo.
Yeah.
This NFC East is wide open. Wide open.
There's Thompson patiently looking for anything, only finding one. Well, the NFC East, we talked about it going in. I mean, considering what's going on with the Eagles as they sit at 2-3. Giants lost in the last seconds to Carolina. You know what happened in overtime with Dallas. And here are the Skins trailing 40-13.
You don't see this division looking like this right now. I mean, look, Philly's a defending champ. Something doesn't seem right there. We see what's taking place in New York. Cowboys had the tough loss. Look, it's wide open. If I'm watching this game tonight and I'm in the NFC East, I'm showing up tomorrow early, ready to go, because it's all out in front of you.
3rd down and 1, and he throws it behind Jordan Reed. And Philly will be at the Giants. That's the Thursday night game coming up. Critical that Philly straightens things out, gets themselves to 500. What do you make of the Giants right now and everything that went down with Odell Beckham Jr.?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I never like to see the star receiver that you just made the franchise player in a lot of ways come out and say that and potentially, you know, challenge or criticize teammates. I do like that Pat Shermer got out ahead of it. He addressed it. And then I did like what Odell said after the game. That was encouraging, but in Eli's level-headed enough to understand.
Here's a 4th down and 1 from their own 34. As Smith will try to get to that corner. And he's just tripped up, but able to fall ahead for the first down. That was A.J. Klein who was tracking him.
we talk about the NFC East. In my opinion, I look at the Philadelphia Eagles. I know it's not going perfect right now, but at 2-3 right now, you get Carson Wentz back healthy, I think they still can be the class of that division. In Dallas, to me, when Jason Garrett didn't go for it on 4th down, he's losing credibility in the locker room. Washington, they have to find some identities on the outside. They can run the football, but who's going to be the guy to catch the football on the outside?
As Smith goes to Brian Quick. 6 yards there.
You know, Boog, you mentioned that about the Cowboys, and I experienced a lot of that over the years of being aggressive on 4th down and seeing the success of it, certainly in the last few years with Dak Prescott at quarterback. You know, I think with how good the defense play, getting those stops, and really the Texans' offense, they're going in the shotgun and making those decisions. With the flow of the game, I felt like you really needed to go for it because that's the strength of your team. The running back and the offensive line, I was really surprised they didn't do it.
It's going to be 3rd and short here as Bibbs gets the carry. There's so much said of what happened with the Cowboys and the Texans in overtime. I'll tell you, DeAndre Hopkins, by far the best player on the field last night, though, especially with the game on the line, what he was able to deliver.
Yeah, he made a play at critical time. And, you know, it's easy to second-guess those decisions because if you punt them back and pin them inside the 10.
What a nice effort there by Jordan Reed as he had to turn around and make that catch against the sideline for 21 yards.
And if you punt them down there and you get a stop because your defense had been playing well, but nice catch by Jordan Reed there.
Fingertip.
But I just think I know what that right guard, Zach Martin's all about. I know what the running back, number 21, get that 1st down, have some momentum, and really, you know, win a game you probably shouldn't have had a chance to because your defense got some big stops. And Houston's offense, with those opportunities in goal line, going shotgun.
Guys, it's really simple. When you pay an offensive line as much money as the Cowboys are paying that line, you got to go for it in that situation. No excuses for Jason Garrett making that decision, and Jerry Jones said so.
I mean, they represent a huge chunk, percentage-wise, of their salary cap, and obviously they are so talented. What's the answer for the Cowboys?
Well, I mean, it's wide open. It's right there. They've been in it, and when they run the football, that formula, Dak Prescott making some plays outside the pocket. You got to get those guys on the outside to make some plays down the field. Certainly they have to do that. And when they had some momentum. Coming back and winning that game against Detroit 2 weeks back, that gives that team some confidence. It's a young team. Defense is playing really well. They can run the football in that identity. And then Scott Linehan, Jason Garrett, I don't think they forgot how to coach. They know what that formula is. And get that train rolling again.
Smith was looking for Harris. Justin Hardy, who was there with the coverage. Remember, Hardy had the 78-yard interception return.
It's just solid man-to-man defense on the outside. And if the New Orleans Saints are going to play this type of pass defense, you couple that with Drew Brees in this offense, this team can be a contender. You know, early in the season, they're giving up explosive plays. I mean, nuclear plays over the top. If they can just shore up the back end, they have guys. This team can compete with the likes of Philadelphia when they're right. The Rams, they can compete with those bigger teams.
But I just need one of these receivers on the outside to step up for the Redskins. Get some separation, make a move, and go.
Smith. Oh, he had a wide open man. Right in the middle was Jamison Crowder.
In the same secondary, it's been their Achilles heel. Here you have Crawley playing man-to-man coverage. Doesn't get beat on the double move. He got beat in New York on a move like that. Now you have P.J. Williams, zone coverage, looking up Crowder. And then the interception here, getting back into coverage. Number 34, Justin Hardy. If they can play this way to go with this offense, they can go further than they went last year. And last year, they were a Minneapolis Miracle away from getting to the championship game in the NFC.
And who knows what would have happened if they had met up with Philly instead of the Vikings. 3rd and 10. Incomplete. And put it towards the toes of Richardson, who had Ken Crawley with him.
Yeah, he really missed that throw. And he's been a couple of these. He just hadn't been on the same page with them. Gets it protected. I don't know what happened there because Richardson was given a little more fake. I don't know that Alex anticipated him to take that long making that move, but here they got it 4th and long.
Well, I think as we're watching Alex Smith play tonight, I think we maybe see some of the reasons why Andy Reid in Kansas City moved to Patrick Mahomes. Alex Smith has struggled late throws and throwing the football down the field tonight.
4th down and 10. Can they snap out of it? Pressured, ball straight up in the air and into the hands of Klein. That ball went backwards. Klein scooped it up and returned it past midfield.
Yeah, I think they're going to call it a sack fumble, Joe.
There's no doubt about it. That was Marcus Davenport, the first-round draft pick, again with those long arms on that 6'6" frame all over Alex Smith. Tonight's Total Replay is brought to you by Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Yeah, this is the touchdown pass that he hits the milestone. You're going to see the green one on the outside. Tre'Quan Smith going to get it, but I'm not sure what they're doing on defense for the Washington Redskins. Josh Norman comes up, and Drew Brees sees it, that little shoulder lean, that jab, and then he gets back in behind him. I started this broadcast talking to you, Joe, about his ability to manipulate the defense, his vision, and what he does with his body. And he put Josh Norman on a rope by just that shoulder lean and then allowing him to get in behind. You saw on that visual, it was single high coverage, cover 3, and he allows them to get bite and get in behind him. What a play.
Wait a sec.
There's Ingram straight ahead on a night of history for Drew Brees. So many folks with ties to New Orleans celebrating tonight, including Emeril Lagasse. Says, congratulations, my friend. No Bam in there, Emeril?
Talk about some great food.
Yeah, I know you were there last night. LeBron James, congrats on the achievement. Sheesh, that's a lot of passing yards, sure is. And Brett Favre, proud to be passed by a guy like you. All the best to Drew Brees. Came in needing 99 yards to move past Favre on number 2. Of course, Brett just a short drive away from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. And in these parts, he is royalty. Thomas with the catch. Of course, as is the guy, the hometown hero, who he leapfrogged to number 1. Peyton Manning and the Manning family, the royal family of football. But this guy and what he means to this city through these years.
You know, though, Joe, usually when you have milestones like this, to become the all-time passing yardage leader in the NFL, you're winding down.
Yes.
Listen, this window is wide open for Drew Brees and Sean Payton and the New Orleans Saints. The weapons he has around him, the backfield, Michael Thomas on the edge, and the defense. If they play like they are tonight, they got a chance to be a leader in the clubhouse behind the Rams.
He's hit on his last 9. Flag is down as he is brought down. It was Deron Payne, the first man to get in there, and then Nicholson.
Good to see Payne still playing hard. It's a blowout. The big fella from Alabama is still rushing and playing hard inside.
Illegal shift. Offense. That penalty's declined. Second down.
And here's my question now. Up 27, we think this team can be a contender, but they're not going to be one without Drew Brees. How long do you keep Drew Brees in the ball game up 27?
Look, I think it's one more touchdown pass.
And keep him in there until Frenchie's done with that spectacular painting, capturing the night.
Yeah.
That was batted down, and he gets it himself, which, by the way, coming into tonight, he has thrown exactly to 100 receivers in his career, including himself. The 6th time he has now passed to himself in his career. That was Preston Smith who deflected it, and Brees aware enough to get it. I guess he can do it all. End of 3. ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by Burger King. All new juicy, crispy chicken tenders are now available. Try yours today only at Burger King. Joe, Jason Buglisa with you here as the Saints are throttling Washington 40-13. This Redskins team has not scored a third-quarter touchdown now in their last 9 games. Meanwhile, 2 more touchdowns for the Saints including Drew Brees connecting with Traquan Smith again. Went for 35 yards to open up this second half. That's 3 touchdown passes on the night, 337 yards, and of course the great magical moment into the record book. 3rd down and 15 now as we start the 4th. And as Kamara will get dragged down after a gain of 9.
You know, people look at Kamara and they don't even think he's running. He's just gliding. He's got some of the best balance in the National Football League. And he's a bigger guy than you think. Over 200 pounds. Nice compliment to Mark Ingram.
To your point, Bug, he does such a good job of keeping his feet planted in the ground.
Yeah.
They're always there. And he just sheds tackles.
4th down and 6. And Sean Payton's keeping that offense out on the field.
Joe, I know it. You need a wheelbarrow to carry around his fortitude. It's incredible. He did the onside kick, start the second half in the Super Bowl. That's how he approaches it. Wouldn't be surprised if he went for it.
It was Thomas Morstead who did that, the punter who is still here in his 10th year. Well, we talked about the most games together for a head coach and starting quarterback. We're going to do this Monday night movie style, like The Departed, of Belichick and Brady at 256. You want a little Miami Vice? Shula Marino, 184 games together. Godfather theme for the New York guys, and Top Gun, they sure are. Peyton and Breeze, 179 games together, head coach and starting quarterback. And this was the moment when they embraced after Breeze became the NFL's all-time passing yards leader. 44-yard attempt from Lutz. They add to it. USAA and the NFL pay tribute to our armed forces through the Salute to Service. Richard Allen II, the father of Redskins lineman Jonathan Allen, retired Sergeant First Class, 23 years in the Army. He studied ways to mitigate contamination from nuclear and chemical weapons. We thank him for his service. Jonathan has been a star, of course, since his days on the D-line at Alabama, and now what he's doing with Washington. We asked him about his dad, Richard. He said, listen, 100 push-ups a day, had to have straight A's to play football. He didn't even hesitate, saying, you want to talk about discipline? Well, the road ahead for the Skins. That Carolina team who's playing really good ball right now. You saw what they were able to do late against the Giants with Graham Gano's 63-yard field goal. And then Dallas, the Giants, and Atlanta, who is banged up defensively.
I think when you look at it, somebody's got to step up on the outside for the Washington Redskins receiver. And this defense came in here as one of the top 5 defenses ranked in the league. They got to regroup because they got a long way to go if they want to win this division and compete come January.
As they try to go with the receiver screen that time as he gets it to Maurice Harris. Of course, Book, Josh Doxson's out with the injury. They had the bye week. You think everything would be fine coming off the bye week, and then somebody steps on his heel at Monday's practice.
Yeah, and to Witt's point on the outside, they throw the football down the middle of the field to the tight ends and to Thompson. They're going to have to get more on the outside on the edge from a vertical standpoint. But when you look at that schedule, those matchups are more favorable. The New Orleans Saints could do this to anybody, guys, with Drew Brees in this offense. When you go against Carolina, that's more of a style that the Redskins want to play against. The physical, the running game, that's more built for their style of play.
Nowhere to go for Thompson. I'll tell you, Marcus Davenport is having a very active night. That was a tackle for loss of -3. Paul Richardson, who of course is a speedster on the outside for Washington, is also banged up. You see that wrap on the right knee.
You know, you keep mentioning Davenport, and he is having a little bit of a coming out party. I can't help but think Jeff Ireland, one of the scouts, works for Mickey Loomis, the longtime general manager here. They drafted him. Small school down there in San Antonio, Texas, San Antonio. Reminds me a little bit of DeMarcus Ware. Troy, the Raw when he came in, and he's got a long way to go to reach that. But He has some of those traits with those long arms and his ability to bend around the edge.
Thompson's going to be a little short on 3rd and 14. You throw that D. Ware out there as a pass rusher, that's a big statement, but Davenport does have those measurables and that burst, and when he flashes, he is something to watch. You will be wowed. A lot of development still to go for the 6'6" rookie out of UTSA. 4th down and 2.
And they need him to flash, Joe. They traded away a lot of draft capital to get him, and people in New Orleans are waiting on him to flash to go with Cam Jordan to give them those bookends here in New Orleans.
I'll tell you, Mickey Loomis and Jeff Ireland have done a nice job with the recent youth that's come into this franchise. Here's 4th and 2. Smith wants more than 2, and he's going to be able to get it into the hands of Jamison Crowder.
And these are the schemed up plays I'm talking about earlier in the game that I was expecting them to do. Realizing that it's man-to-man and then getting the pick route. You see the 2 outside guys come in there. Williams has to come in behind that. That's a Jay Gruden special. They do that all the time. They're not even running routes, those other 2 guys. See Quick and Reed. It's simply a pick route. Vernon Davis had a big play earlier in the year. And then they come with this.
In stride, Maurice Harris, as he's going to be marked down just short of the goal line. 42-yard reception.
That's what it is, though. It's big strikes. He's firm with the ball. He's got to match up on Hardy. He sticks it, gets right on his toes, and goes. He's running. We saw him on the fade on the same matchup right here, and he didn't get separation. He just was running straight. There, he was explosive, good body lean, stick the foot in the ground, and when you plant, the ball's on you.
You know,
2
with
good plays.
Yeah, with Justin Hardy is expecting cornerback, safety help, Marcus Williams hasn't been playing so well. And once again, then he bit up. He's expecting the safety to be in the middle of the field. On back-to-back plays, we see the Achilles heel of New Orleans, giving up big chunk plays down the field. If this team is going to play late in January, they're going to have to clean that up. Make the teams go deep and go 12 to 15 plays and not give up the big explosive play.
And I hear you, Bogue, but one of the things is Alex Smith, and we didn't see him play very well. I was high on him coming in tonight. I get why they made this play, you know, and Kirk Cousins left in free agency. They really liked Alex Smith. Jay Gruden came out and said he doesn't have any weaknesses. He was their guy. They paid him. That's the type of throws. When you're on time and you put it on him right when he's coming out of the plate, it doesn't matter about the safety in the middle of the field. He can't make plays like that when it's on time. We just have not seen it until now, and it's too late.
You know what else hasn't been seen? The Redskins scoring a second-half touchdown. They're the only team that hasn't scored a second-half touchdown. They've had 17 possessions coming into tonight and 4 field goals. Ryan Anderson, the linebacker, is playing fullback in front of Bibbs. And he's short. It was A.J. Klein coming around to make the tackle.
Yeah, and that's intimidating. You're going to see the left guard pull around, climb up there. They call it 32 blasto. I've ran this play a million times. Bill Callahan would work goal line situations. And those are those situations that you're doing it. And it's a mentality down there. And that's frustrating for this team, not being able to hit on this play in the goal line.
What was that play call?
32 blasto.
I need a little more blast there. There's Taylor Stallworth, a rookie from South Carolina, who is still down.
My question, did you block anybody on the 32?
32, it's a gap. Don't have to worry about it on the perimeter.
During the commercial break. Keep getting after it. Next week, Monday Night Football is going to be up at Lambeau Field. Richard Sherman, 49ers, going up against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. 8:15 kick from historic Lambeau. 49ers lost to the Cardinals yesterday. So the Cardinals avoid the 0-5 start. They get that win. And then you saw what happened with the Packers against the Lions. And Mason Crosby missing 4 field goals and an extra point. All those points left out there on the board, and they lose by 8. And he is a really good and reliable kicker. Just one of those days. 2nd and goal. There's Cam Jordan in that Saints defense. Done a good job throughout. And now Bibbs is able to scoop his way in. And finally, a second-half touchdown this year for Washington.
Joe, you know what they call that one? When it goes to the left, 33 blast.
There you go.
Difference is you got Sheriff, the right guard, pulling around from the right side, coming right to you. See 75 Sheriff kicks him out, and you get a play there.
DeMario Davis just kind of whiffed on that tackle. He's been playing really good for the Saints defense. They've been kind of platooning these linebackers. First time I've heard that. 4 linebackers taking 3 spots. One guy gets 30 plays, the other guy gets 30. DeMario Davis been playing well. Missed that tackle on that play.
And you know, it's early in the season, but you can really tell the character of a football team in games like this.
Yeah.
You really can. I mean, there's a lot of football to play. Certainly in the NFC East, that's the case.
2-point conversion as Thompson splits out. All day there on top. There's the slant off the stack release, and it was denied. That was Robertson getting in defensively. Thompson slow to get up.
More stats? Hey Siri, who leads the league in passing yards?
I think Rams fans would tell you that answer. Chris Thompson was able to walk off the field moments ago. Our team, says Drew Brees, on their night to make history. Remember, a year ago, Thompson fractured his right leg against the Saints.
Joe, was that your voice on that, Siri? It sounded like it.
It's not on your phone. It's just in this game.
Oh, okay. Man.
Drew Brees still a chance to get into that 500 club. There's the high punch floater that Taysom Hill fields at about the 7. The best of Drew Brees on his history-making night mic'd up.
Hey, fast, baby. Great tempo now, one play at a time.
I love you, bro. I love you, bro. I love you, buddy.
18th season and playing like he's in his absolute prime on a night where he over-delivers.
Joe, you said over-delivers, but this is what he's been doing for a long time. Accuracy, throwing that out cut right on the sideline, just enough time to be able to get his feet down and then to step up inside the pocket and still look down the field. And then this one, little quick jab with the shoulders in behind Josh Norman, and that was the career breaker.
Saints offense that has scored on 7 of their 9 possessions tonight.
He's just so in tune, the things that he does. I mean, we were watching the walkthroughs, and after he throws it, he goes through the entire progression reads, and he does it every single day. It's a testament to how he works.
Meticulous preparation. The list just keeps growing. The resume, of course, the Super Bowl MVP, 11 times the Pro Bowler. He's got so many records in the NFL record book, and tonight the biggest of all for a quarterback, the all-time passing yards mark, as he went past Brett Favre and then Peyton Manning.
I just wonder why he's still in the game right now. I understand you want to get to 500 tonight. It's Monday Night Football. But you just wonder right now, up this big, late in the game, if it's time to get Drew Brees out, guys.
As he adds to his total, Austin Carr. What do you think about that?
Well, I think they're doing it for that reason only. Look, I bet you Sean Payton's like, let's get this record, and let's see a little Teddy Bridgewater. You know, I mean, they traded for him. They want to get in some action and see what he can do. But right now, I think it's just simply to try to get the touchdown and get the record.
There's Teddy, who was traded from the Jets at the end of August for a 3rd-round pick. Of course, the former Vikings star. Who then had the catastrophic knee injury in 2016. He had such a good-looking preseason with the Jets. And the Saints were active to acquire him. So they got Bridgewater, and then they've got the Swiss Army knife and Taysom Hill. Not much there with Mark Ingram being tackled by Ryan Anderson.
And Sean Payton couldn't have been more excited about Teddy Bridgewater, guys. You know, you wonder, they're so giddy about Taysom Hill. Why do you bring Teddy Bridgewater in? It's really simple. Taysom Hill may be the quarterback of the future down the road, but if something happens to Drew Brees, Teddy Bridgewater can come in and this team can win now. So nice, smart move by Sean Payton, Mickey Loomis. Might be time to get Teddy Bridgewater a little action tonight, fellas.
And, Book, to your point, Whit, he's very high. He says Teddy Bridgewater is a special guy. I want him to know that we can make you a star. Second and 10. As Brees, Thomas shakes free. He's a dynamic, strong athlete.
Yeah, he's physical. I said it coming inside. I think he is the best wide receiver in football right now. And not just statistically, he's had a quiet night. But look at the physicality. Coming back to the ball, shedding him, run after catch, and the percentage. He came in tonight catching 96% of his passes, 42 of 44. Let me tell you something. He's not catching stick routes.
No.
He's on the outside, deep overs, deep crossers. He plays the slot. He plays X. He plays Z. He's smart. He loves ball. Makes plays like that.
Keyshawn Johnson's nephew. Brees has hit on his last 12 pass attempts. As Kamara gets it to the 49. Mentioned Michael Thomas. Just look at the next-gen stats on Thomas.
I mean, he's outside 28 of 29, 337 yards. In the slot, 17 of 19 for 172. His ability to move him around. He'll do it in 2x2 sets, 3x1 sets. He'll be the single receiver. They like in the red zone. Now with Kamara playing there, getting him outside and having a little combination with those two, where Drew Brees just picks it. Says, okay, how are you going to play this? 3 over 2, I'll find the open guy. So Ingram coming back opens up all those things to this offense.
And he's really loved going to him in the fourth quarter. Here's 2nd and 6 as he comes back this direction of Ben Watson. You know, coming into tonight, Brees targeted Michael Thomas 11 times in the fourth quarter and completed all 11 passes.
You know, Whit, I hear you about Michael Thomas, and he's a tremendous guy, running, crossing routes, the hands, he catches everything. And he's the perfect guy. Remember when the New Orleans Saints had Marcus Colston? He is this version of Marcus Colston right now. Perfect fit for this offense. However, Whit, I'm going to disagree with you a little bit. I don't think he's the best receiver in football. I think that guy resides in Pittsburgh, and the second best is in Atlanta. I think Michael Thomas is somewhere in there between 3 and 5 as far as the best receivers in the game.
So you say A.B. and Julio Jones.
Yes, sir.
DeAndre Hopkins in the mix. People would say Odell Beckham Jr.
Yeah, I say all of the above. Don't get me wrong. All of the above. What I'm saying, though, is his ability to move in all these different places. You can line him inside. You can line him outside. That's what Sean loves about the guy. Yeah. The diversity that he brings to this offense, that he can put him out all over the field, and that Sean Payton loves to use him. And he loves to play. He loves football. He loves to work. And you're seeing him. He's a young player. The production that he's had in his career.
Yeah, we were talking about him earlier today, you and I. Said, you know, big body type, not necessarily the burner downfield, but so strong, and those hands so strong, fights for everything.
Yeah, and most big guys like that, they don't get out of the cuts at the top of the routes. The transition is a little bit sloppy. It's harder. You're bigger. We talked about that last week. And he's so smooth on the outside.
And here's a guy who's so tough and versatile in Taysom Hill, going for 5 yards.
You know, this is
running down towards 4 minutes here, and the opportunity you talked about, Boog, as to why Brees is still in the game is the chance to join the 500 club. Do they dial it up here?
Well, this could be an opportunity. Knowing Sean Payton, he likes to be on the grand stage. And the only reason Brees is in is to get the record. They're in the plus territory. Might be time for a shot deep tonight. You've got one record. May as well go ahead and get the second one right now.
Boog, look at you moving down in the Boogmobile just so you can get that perfect view of the line of scrimmage.
I don't know if that's going to happen unless he's going to throw a double pass or something. I don't see that happening.
Taysom Hill on the quarterback sweep as he will get another first down and extending this drive. That was the 10th play of a drive that's coming up on 7 minutes long.
Just another weapon for the New Orleans Saints, Taysom Hill. I mean, he's in, he can block, he can be a back, he can be a wide receiver, he can be a move tight end. Sean Payton using guys who are athletes. He's one of the best athletes, if not the best athlete on this team, him and Alvin Kamara. And so, great job by Payton using those guys. But there's a reason Drew Brees is in the game, guys. At some point, he's going to dial this thing up and end the night right with number 500.
Tom Brady threw his 500th touchdown pass on Thursday night. Will there be a chance here for Drew Brees? As we're under 3 minutes to go. They got the bye week coming up to the Saints, and then they're going to be at Baltimore. Talked about how this game sets up as a game to try to start defining who's really that number 2 team in the NFC. Rams just feel like they're a cut above everybody. You got Chicago at 3-1. And the Saints team with a signature night. And this guy back in action. Mark Ingram. As that'll take us to the 2-minute warning on a night when Brees is at 363-3 and memories that'll last a lifetime. Well, if you missed it earlier, this was the moment of the night. The record breaker. The 62-yard touchdown pass to Traquan Smith that put Drew Brees atop them all. Passing Favre, passing Manning, and the time with his beautiful family, his wife Brittany, his daughter Rylan, Kaylin, Bowen, Balin, and sending a wonderful message of love and inspiration that you can do anything in life if you're willing to work. And he was always willing to work for 18 years. You know, you can have the great debate of best quarterback of all time. And it'll include other names. It'll have legends with big-time arms and numerous Super Bowl wins. But right now, you can't debate this mark. The stat, the all-time passing leader. A masterful night, a masterpiece of sorts as Frenchie is finishing up his work.
And I think he's taking him out. Going to give him a standing ovation right here.
Yep. Here's the moment. Celebrate your man, New Orleans. So at Baltimore will be the chance to join the 500 touchdown club.
I love you, bro. I love you, bro. I love you, bro. Thank you, coach. Come on, let's go win the game now, all right? Come on. Hey, I love you guys so much. Hey, you're going to accomplish anything in life you're willing to work for, right? I love you, boys. I love you.
And he's accomplished a lot in life, and he was always willing to work for it. Drew Brees came out of the game moments ago. You know, some have said you consider the era he played in with Brady, Rodgers, and Peyton that he's actually underappreciated. The only player now in the top 5 all-time in passing yards who never won a league MVP.
Yeah, and statistically, when you look at that, hard-pressed to think that how could he not win one of those MVPs. But you know what? He's the type of guy, he's won 1 Super Bowl. His focus is simply on getting another one. That's all he's talking about. And I see that replay a number of times tonight, but I couldn't help but on that last time to see the fans. The connection he has had to his fans, and they have had to him. It's been remarkable to see.
And Boog, Whit, and Lisa, I think you'd agree it was an honor to just be a part of it and take it in and cover it in such a special night. And the way he went about it.
Tess, I completely agree with you. And when you think about this, guys, you can debate Elway, Marino, Manning, Favre. One thing those guys have that Drew Brees doesn't is height. To me, he's the greatest quarterback that ever played this game, 6 feet and under. And I don't think anybody can debate that. And he'll be a top 10 quarterback of all time, regardless of his height.
But he's also a trailblazer for all the other guys coming in. You heard what Russell Wilson said on Twitter. Baker Mayfield's the #1 pick, undersized. The list goes on. And he was really one of the first ones in our era to perform at a high level.
How about the Saints running the final 10:25 off the clock? on a night when Breeze was 26 of 29 for 363, 3 touchdowns, hit 9 different receivers, including himself. Said excuse me to Brett Favre and Peyton Manning on that yardage list tonight. Nice congratulations expressed by Trent Williams, longtime Pro Bowl left tackle from the Skins. Cameras were out all night long here in the Crescent City. And the moment happened in the second quarter when he connected with Traquan Smith. Two guys there that will be meeting up in Canton, Ohio for many years to come. Adrian Peterson and Drew Brees. All right, Lisa, he's all yours.
Thank you, Tess. Drew, you said the win was most important. You got that. Now can you describe your emotions the moment you broke the record?
It's hard, you know. There's just so many people that are responsible for that share or have a hand in that can share in that. And you know, before the game, two of the most important people in my life, two of the people that were probably most responsible for my football career early on in my life, thank you, are up in heaven. You know, it was my mom and my grandfather, and you know, there's a lot of people that I wanted to prove right tonight and make proud, but none more so than them. And so I know they're watching down on me at all times, and my kids, and just I'm just so grateful for the opportunity to play this game and to have played it for so long, and to have the teammates that I have and the New Orleans Saints organization and this great city and this great fan base. It's really been a dream come true. I'll be able to reflect on it maybe a little bit more when my career is done. I still feel like there's work to be done, but just really, really proud and very grateful.
What has resonated so much with the folks watching was what you said to your kids. Do you remember what you even said to them?
Well, it's probably what I tell them every night before they go to bed, which is, you know, you can accomplish anything in life you're willing to work for. So, just, you know, nothing's given, everything's earned, but, you know, God has equipped us for great works, and I tell them that every night.
What was the play call, the one that actually broke the record? Did you know how close you were, and what was the play?
Well, I knew if we went down and scored on that 2-minute drive and all of those were passing yards, I figured we would be pretty close. Yeah, Gun King trips right there, 52 all go special, 52 sway all go special, XL across H wide. So yeah, I'll remember that one for a long time.
You said your very first preseason game, you walked into a stadium in Miami, you looked up and you saw all of Marino's records and just thought, wow, when will it sink in? You've passed Marino, you've passed Favre, you've passed Manning, you've passed all of them, Drew. You're at the top. When's that going to sink in?
I don't know if that'll ever sink in, because I love playing the game. I didn't set out on this journey to break these records. I played because I love the game and I love to compete, and I love being a part of this organization.
Thank you so much, and congratulations to you.
Great job, Lisa. As Drew remembers his mom, his grandfather, and that message to his children. Nothing is given, everything is earned, and he earned his place atop them all tonight. 43-19. Stay tuned for the GMC postgame report on SportsCenter. For Jason, Booger, and Lisa, I'm Joe Tessitore, inviting you to enjoy the rest of your night, including time with SVP to preview SportsCenter right now.